hockey day in America. It doesn't get much better than this.
No, it doesn't. Other than us being in Nashville next month.
I keep telling you, I don't know if I can afford to bring you. Stop bringing up the trip in the intros. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the St. Louis Blues on Hockey Day in America inside Bridgestone Arena by the final score of 2-1. They complete a second home-and-home series with the Blues this season, winning the season series 4-0. Believe it or not, Preds Nation, the Preds have now won 3 games in a row for the first time since late October. It's Hockey Day in America, as I alluded to in the intro, and John Hines decides to start the game with the Amber Waves of Grain line, which, for the uninformed, is Grimaldi, Bonino, and Craig Smith. Thanks to Jim Diamond of the Associated Press for that line's name. And as you can see, the Preds were wearing their Winter Classic jerseys for this game. I'll get this out of the way early before I recap the game. My obligatory comment on NHL and NBC not having a shots on goal clock. Still, what gives? The game is so much easier to follow in all aspects when you include that stat in it. As for the game, the Blues are controlling most of it early in the first few minutes, cycling the puck really well, and the Preds are getting a few chances, but they are sparingly until 6.5 minutes into the game. Forsberg gets a breakaway on Jordan Binnington, who is in net this game for the Blues, and Binnington has to make 2 key saves to keep the puck out and keep this game scoreless. The Blues would get a great chance about halfway through the first period as Bozak sets up Braden Shen, but Pekka Rinne is bailed out by his left post, and the game is still 0-0. Preds' penalty kill, which has been subpar much of this season, is tested late in the first when the favorite punching bag of many in Preds Nation, Austin Watson, is called for hooking Robert Thomas. But the Preds' penalty kill responds strongly, and Rinne is up to the task as he doesn't allow a goal to get by him, and it's scoreless after 1, with the Blues outshooting the Preds 13-6. The Blues are keeping up their offensive pressure through the first half of the second period, but Rinne is matching them shot for shot, keeping it a scoreless game. For a stretch of over 8.5 minutes from the end of the first period into the second period, the Preds would go without a shot on goal. And that's not a big issue as long as you're not allowing any goals during that time as well. And the Preds did it for as long as when the Preds finally do get a solid chance on goal, that it finally goes in, and that's what would happen. Grimaldi gets it to Nick Bonino. Nick Bonino, who has Craig Smith with him, drop passes it to Grimaldi, who takes a shot on Binnington, and it goes over Binnington's head as Craig Smith is there to tap it home, making it 1-0 Preds. If you're keeping track at home, that's now 6 goals for Craig Smith in the last 5 games. That goal has seemed to have fired up the Preds as momentum starts to shift their way as they are starting to finally generate more chances on Binnington. Blues, though, would respond 3 minutes later as Bozak, who's trying to pass the puck across, deflects in off of Hamhuis, who's trying to block the pass, and past Rinne, who is not expecting it, tying the game at 1. Preds would get a great chance off of the rush to get the lead back, but Rocco Grimaldi's shot goes off of Binnington's glove and off the post, and a Blues defender is able to clear the puck when it's right on the line before any Pred is there to bang it home. The score remains tied at 1 after 40. And this may be Pex's only second start in the last 7 Preds games, but he is absolutely dialed in as the shots for the Blues after 40 minutes are 25-12. Barely after starting the third period, Ryan Johansson hits Colton Parayko into referee Amel, and he goes flying into the board, but fortunately he was not seriously hurt and is able to stay in the game. A bit later, David Perron is in the penalty box for slashing Matt Duchene, and the Preds' best chance to retake the lead comes soon after that as Ryan Johansson passes it to Matt Duchene, but Jordan Binnington's glove keeps the puck out. Just about 8 minutes into the third period, Turris gets it out front to Philip Forsberg, but Binnington makes another key save. Those two would eventually answer later. With about 8 minutes left to go in regulation, the Blues would account for 4 solid chances to take the lead, but Rene keeps them all out. The Preds have finally found their stride. They have that energy, and they are matching the Blues shot for shot as the Blues would outshoot the Preds in that third period only by a total of 14-12. And just when it looks like this game is going to go to overtime, just over 2 minutes left to go in regulation, puck in the Blues zone, scrum along the boards just inside the blue line when Forsberg gets it out of the scrum to Kyle Turris, who uses Falk as a screen, and he gets it through his leg, toe drag snap, and it's through Binnington to give the Preds a 2-1 lead. Bridgestone Arena is going crazy. The Blues would try to tie the game up again, but their attempts would soon be futile as they would get called for too many men on the ice when the extra attacker jumps on before Jordan Binnington is completely to the bench. The Preds would milk off the remaining 1:29 off the clock after that penalty was called and win the game 2-1. Pekka Rinne played outstanding in this game, continuing the momentum he had from the Vegas game that even though that was a loss, he was the #1 star of the Preds in that game, and he was the #1 star overall in this game as he would make 38 saves by the final whistle. What a roller coaster of a week, huh, Preds Nation? After feeling completely helpless after the Vancouver disaster on Monday, this team pulled it together and has been 2 different playoff caliber teams in 3 games. Thus, their current 3-game win streak. Their first since October 29th of last fall. They've now won 7 of their last 10 games. I mentioned after the Winnipeg win 2 weeks ago that if this team could win 6 or 7 of their next 10 before that February 24th deadline, I would hold off on being sellers this season. Well, since then, and including that game, this team has gone 5-2. Carolina, Chicago, and Columbus are on the horizon this week. After all this team has put us through this season, maybe they're going to be able to stand pat at the final deadline after all. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching as always. Hit like if you like this video. Hit subscribe if you've rediscovered your love for this team. Find all of my social media links by clicking on the channel name. Is it Monday tomorrow? Because it feels like just the start of the weekend to me.